Ouspensky was, I think, for our purpose, he's not important as such, but he was a Russian writer. Apparently, a philosopher. I used to have this book in my library when I was young. Philosopher. I don't remember whether I actually read it or not. Philosopher, and esotericist. I think that's the correct reference to him, the esotericist. And he was a follower of Greek Armenian teacher called George Gurdjieff. And then he sort of popularized his ideas. He went to England and the United States. I'm talking about Ouspensky. And he was sort of a popular writer and speaker. And since he was in England, not sure when he was in England, but he must be famous enough in England for, or around the world, for Alam Iqbal to pick up his book. But Alam Iqbal's one thing we should remember: Alam Iqbal is dealing with the West here, the modern West, which is powerful. And he believes that the dominant philosophies are against, incompatible with Islam and religion. So, but he doesn't totally reject the West, because he thinks that modern Western philosophy, for two reasons, he doesn't reject. One is that they're dominant. So if they're dominant, there must be some truth to it. And especially, when he believes that the Western thought, science, and philosophy is the source of their imperial dominance of the Muslim lands. So power is very important in Iqbal, despite everything. But for him, power is material as well, spiritual. The second thing is that he believes that the Western sciences, all that is good in the West actually, is development of key insights of the Quran and Islam. So for these two reasons, although he rejects the dominant trends in Western philosophy and science, which he thinks it is materialistic, he doesn't reject material as such, matter as such, but materialism he does reject. And they are, ethically, not on the straight path. But he believes that in the West there is another tradition which is not materialistic and which is spiritual. So he's looking for a reinterpretation of the Western tradition in a way that it becomes compatible with Islam. And for that he goes, and you see, he looks at the figures which go against the current, go against the interpretation. So that's why he was looking at Einstein. That's why he goes to Nietzsche and Bergson. So these are figures within the Western philosophy and science, but which are giving it a new dimension, and who are critiquing. So Bergson critiques materialism, Nietzsche critiques a narrow conception of rationality, and Einstein, as Alam Iqbal said, that he does away with the notion of the substance, etc. It is in this context that we should see his reference to Ouspensky and his book. What was the book called? Whatever it was called, we'll go back to that. Okay. Now a little bit in this context about his book, Tertium Organum. The organum reminds us of Aristotle's organum, but it also reminds us of Francis Bacon's ovum organum, new organum. So in a way, Ouspensky, as he is known in the West, I think is that's the English version of his Russian name. So that suggests that Ouspensky in this book is going beyond Aristotle and Bacon to a higher form of logic or mode of thought, without rejecting those, obviously, beyond the classical, that is the Greek, and the positivist method. So a method which is scientific, but a richer conception of science, which not only incorporates mystic experiences, but also provides room for that. So that's this sort of thing would sit well with Alam Iqbal for sure. Okay. So one of the things which Ouspensky does in the book is that our perception of the world is limited by our five senses and our three-dimensional consciousness. And obviously, this is sort of a critique of positivism, because positivism asserts that within these are not limitations. That's all there is to, and on base of these five senses and our reason, we are able to arrive at the truth and reality. Not only scientific truth, but metaphysical truth compatible with, or metaphysical or non-metaphysical truth compatible with science. So in Ouspensky's book, you have exploration of higher consciousness, what you call cosmic consciousness. And he believes that cosmic consciousness is not something which is enigmatic. I mean, it might seem enigmatic to us, but it's something as normal as other things. It's just that because of the dominance of materialism, we have forgotten it, and we can actually develop this cosmic consciousness. And if we develop cosmic consciousness, then with the help of only then we can develop a full comprehensive view of the world, which is true. And this reminds us of Alam Iqbal's insistence on intuition, for example, which goes beyond ordinary scientific, positivistic, even non-positivistic methods. And what Alam Iqbal is saying, not that positivistic or general scientific methods are limited, but they are lacking. So it's not just tradition, but and probably Ouspensky is doing similar sort of thing, but in different contexts, etc. What you need to do is, in view of cosmic consciousness, and by developing it, you will also revise and revision our ordinary five sense and three-dimensional experience as well. I think these are two things which seems to me, obviously in that book there's much more, there are many more things discussed, but these two things seems relevant to Alam Iqbal. Okay, let's go back to the text.